our very well lit and very well videoed presenter tonight, Mr. Hess. I gotta say, dude, that looks portrait-like.
It really is a good
You are killing it.
picture.
So his thread's going to break about 6 times tonight, and he's going to have all kinds of problems because he looks so good.
Well, when you see the fly vice go flying across the room, you know that's when it's.
There you go. So
Yeah.
we're going to be doing, for those of you who are into it, we're going to be doing an old throwback, an Oliver Edwards pattern, which is near and dear to some of us who used to hang out at Flying Field. And then what else have you got for us tonight, Fred?
The F fly. Any Slovenians out there tonight?
I think we're a little short on them right now.
Well, somebody's going to have to help me with the pronunciation of this man's name.
Do the best you can.
All right, are we ready?
Yes, let her rip, buddy.
All right, well, welcome. It's Tuesday night. It's a 2 for Tuesday here at DRiFT. So it's 2 CDC based feathered flies. The first one is, as Mr. Agresta said, is based off of a Oliver Edwards tie. They're actually, both of these flies are found on this DVD. Little plug here for Mr. Edwards and for, I can't, let's see if I can find his name on the back here somewhere. It's the gentleman I've been emailing back and forth with when the DVDs were coming over from England. Really nice man. You know, that's something we could think about as a club. I could try to approach him. It would probably be interesting to have. He was the one who produced and filmed all those masterclass videos.
20,
it
30.
might be kind of interesting with Zoom if he'd be willing. I don't know because of the time element or recorded.
Time disparity. If we were doing this at 7, it'd be like what, 2 in the morning for him?
Yeah.
Plus 8 hours.
It would be kind of interesting to hear what he had to say about working with Oliver and how they said things.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so this is the DVD that I worked off of, Quick Ties and Favorite Flies. And this first one, the Bubble Wing Caddis, is CDC. And this fly tying materials don't really degrade. This is from Flying Field.
I have a lot of stuff from there.
And it still works. So, and this is also from Flying Field. And this is so these are the 2 things that you're going to need for this fly: tackle and CDC feathers. All right. And if you guys will give me a minute, I'm going to turn off my video and switch over to my phone. So there's the fly. Earlier today, I was able to actually get that thing to expand so that I had nothing but the fly. Well, let's try it. So here's the hook device. This is a size 14.
What partridge hook is that? Right.
So the one I'm using for this one is not the one recommended. It is the L3A. It's the Captain Hamilton bend, and it's a size 14. And I think he asks for something else. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know it's in this. So let's try to get this fly. It's really irritating me that I was able to do it. Oh, there. That's a little bit better.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. What's kind of interesting about this fly is how much glue he uses in it. And this is one of his tips what we're going to use. So we'll practice it now. When you're tying the thread in, you hold the tag end up and you make your wraps, and it sits perfectly right on top. All right, let's keep going.
Fred, do you have a lighter colored jacket or something to put on? I'm wondering if that might contrast your, I don't know what works best.
Um,
Kyle or Denton, help me out. I mean, you want some
yeah,
fly sticks out better.
let me see. I don't have anything here in front of me.
Maybe just zip up your jacket a couple inches.
Yeah,
There you go. I like that.
okay. Once we start tying some materials in, it's gonna look a lot different. So what he does is he ties in 2 of these CDC plumes. And the nice thing about these plumes is they're pretty big. And they're very full. As you can see there. So here's the fun part. You take the 2 feathers, you mate them together, match them together, and there is a side that's gonna go up or be concave, and that's what you want. So if you can kind of see that on the video, you have that little bit of a curve, and the curve is going up. It's not like that. It's up. Now the fun part of this fly, and you notice I'm gonna tie almost to the bend of, well, a little bit shy of the bend of the hook. But when I put this together, I'm gonna stroke these fibers forward at the tips. And the kicker is to try to catch these and put them all in the same place. So you wanna be afraid of stroking these feathers back. And of course they come loose because I'm watching it in the monitor rather than paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, let's get through this. So here's the fun part. So you put them on top of the hook. The old pension loop method. And then what he calls for is to make sure that those 2 feather plumes stay on top of the hook. And in the video, he says, if you don't get it to work the first time, that's not a problem. Take them off and do them again. You know, and keep on doing them until they work. It's frustrating. All right. So now that I have those on there, I'm gonna keep on tying back here. Try not to snap. There. Now, come in here, you cut off your waist. And this is where he gets, I don't ever remember seeing Oliver do this so much, but he really requests a lot of use of glue.
And this wing requires the stem of the CDC feather, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So this isn't one of those Mark Pigeonnet, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, where you have to have the magic tool and everything.
Oh, Pretigene, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
this is
those are his feathers, right?
yes,
Yes.
from Flying Field all those years ago. So there, we put some glue on that, and we've held it down so it's kind of like belts and braces times. Now, for those of you who are new to fly tying, this is a hackle, full cape, and they're well worth the money. They're not cheap, but they're, you know, I've had this for, I don't know, how, 20 years maybe. And you'll notice that over time, certain parts of it will start to get picked out. Now, really good fly tires will start to like, okay, that's like a 22 or 24 or whatever. And then as they go up, 20, then 18, then 16, then 14, and they can pick a feather out of the cape just by location without even thinking about it. I'm not that good because I don't get to tie that much. I'm not a professional tyer. What he wants you though to do is to pick out a feather, a hackle, so that the hackle, the very tips of the hackle, when you splay it out, just start to touch the bottom of the hook. So let's see if I can work a little magic here. You might not be able to see this. Yeah, I can, but you can't. So I found one that's pretty darn close. I'm happy with it. I'm plucking it out. So here's my hackle that I'm going to use. Notice with hackle, even though this is a genetic, and they do a very nice job with it, these hackles down here are a little bit longer than the ones in the middle. So when I start to use this feather, because I want it to be uniform, I'm going to come up here and start pulling out fibers. I'm not going to do it. You can almost see, now maybe if I hold it up closer, you can see the difference in size. So that's done. Clip it. Yeah, got a little aggressive there. Let's take off some of that. And we'll leave ourselves a little stub to tie in with. And I'm going to put that in there.
What thread are you using, Fred?
I'm using 8/0, and it's unithread, and it's tan. Just long as it's not real different from what you're going to be using as your. This is dirty yellow. The plumes are dirty yellow, so long as it's not too different, it's not really weird looking, you're okay. Like I wouldn't use fluorescent pink to tie this in with. It might make the fish wondering what's going on. All right, so I know I said I was going to put some glue on there. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on, because the whole reason for putting the glue on is I Palmer this. That glue, that head cement, will help with making sure that the hackles stay on a little bit longer. And I'll try to get my hackle tool to work with me. And away we go. Again, Palmer. So they don't have to be touching each other. He likes to get that first one all the way in the back if you can get away with it. There's no, you're not, nobody's got a stopwatch on you, so take your time. And so that was about maybe 4 wraps. It will depend on the length of your shank, hook shank, and just how your tying is going. So I'm going to come back, I'm going to come behind the hackle, give it 2 wraps, and give it a wrap up front. And I'm done. Now there's some hackle fibers I don't like, so I'm going to cut those off. So you need to notice now, we've got the hackle on. Move my hand there. Let's see if I can find something else. No?
There you go.
So you can see how you've got everything on there.
It's actually better against your shirt.
Oh, okay. So there's everything. So the hackle's been tied in. And some people like to get rid of this hackle plier because it gets in the way. But you leave the hackle on. You don't make the mistake of cutting it off, because you're going to use it later. So you got your hackle tied in, palmered. It's glued nice and tight to the hook shank. You've got your 2 CDC feathers back here waiting to get used hooked over. Before you do anything now, though, you're going to take a good pair of scissors, a steady hand, and you're going to cut these hackles a little bit at, like, I think he says 15 degrees. Okay? So that you, when you put the feathers over, they actually have somewhere to go. Okay. So here's the next trick he talks about. When you're gonna put the hackle, or you're gonna put these 2 plumes on, you're actually gonna take a bobbin and start gently shaping your wing, your bubble wing. And then again, the whole trick is and this isn't, oh, it's not always perfect, but we want it to, that we kind of got it going right there. I'm happy with that. I'm not gonna look get force in the mouse. Again, pinch and loop if you can get away with it. Trying to make sure those 2 CDC stems land on top of the hook. All right.
More glue.
Don't be shy. A little bit more glue. So we're pretty much done with this fly. Just a couple more steps. And I don't like how that's not tight enough for me. Whoa. My voice just gave up on. All right, so there you go. Now I'm gonna cut these off. And, ooh, okay, I'm okay. So I'm gonna advance my thread all the way to the hook eye. And now I'm going to hackle the last, like 1/3 or a little less than 1/3 or a quarter, I should say, probably a little less than a quarter of the hook. All right, find my hook, my hackle pliers. So I can do this properly. And is there anything wrong with coming behind one of your first wraps of hackle to make it even a little bit better? No. And then I just keep coming forward. Don't want to crowd the eye too much. Give myself a little thread. I'm going to try to get a little cheeky here and put at least 1 wrap behind the stem of the hackle. And then that's all I'm gonna do, because I gotta be careful, I'm running out of room. Tweak off the rest of my hackle. It's done its job. And then I'm gonna come in with my whip finishing tool and very patiently come in there and give it about 2 or 3 wraps. I just take my time. There it goes. Okay. And that's it. That's your fly. Now you notice that there's a couple of fibers of CDC flying off. If you really are OCD and that's disturbing you greatly, you can cut those off. So you get just the pure look of the, or you can leave it in there. I don't think the fish really mind. And then the last thing you do, your last dollop, of glue, of head cement, and that's the CDC Bubble Caddis.
Very
All
nice.
right.
Nicely done, Fred.
Yeah.